Hey guys, just want to say thank you for clicking onto this video. Please subscribe and please like this video. When you like the video, what it does, it allows the video to be shared among like-minded people. So please subscribe and please press that like button. Just have to say, I want to apologize. There's a video I'm working on. So far, I think I'm just gonna do it in series. I'm trying to answer a few questions. Trying to give a reason to why there's what some might call hatred between continental Africans and African Americans, or diaspora, but I think mainly it's African Americans. And I also want to answer the question, did Africans sell other Africans? So I'm working on that, but I'll try to put a video together, and I think it's going to be a very long video. So like I said, I'm going to put it into like maybe 30-minute videos, because I think like sometimes when you make a long video, people only watch about 15 to half an hour, so I'll try to chop it up into maybe the half an hour sort of sessions, and make it like into series, tackle each question, and the way I want to design it is I want to take people back a little bit, pre-colonial Africa and just before slavery, and just after, and where we are today, so and I want to give examples of things that's happening around the world that we can relate to what happened back then, so that people can actually understand this, because I think people have been taught the wrong things. People are reading his story, not our story, or our story. So yeah, so I'm working on that. I apologize for the for taking so long, but I'm working on it. And I've just been also like extremely busy, so I haven't had the time to make a video. However, for this video, there's just something that I want to quickly talk about, and that's just the mistrust in the black community. I think like this is our Achilles heel. It's our kryptonite. It's really holding us back. When I say mistrust, it's just in everything: money, organization, people doing business. There's always another black person that's gonna come and say something negative about that person. There's always this. People give, the $2, they're $3, and at the end of it, they're not even giving people time to grow what they promised they are gonna do. People start demonstrating and all sorts of things. So what I'm trying to I just want to have a say about that, because I think it's very wrong, and I think it has to come to an end. We need to develop some sort of an understanding, but mainly we need to understand where we are, and we need to understand where we've come from. Because I think, and this is the reason why I even want to do the videos that I'm working on, because I strongly believe that us not understanding our history, we've ended up dehumanizing our ancestors, and it's led to so many things, the mistrust or the distrust in our community, and people question, people are so mad with continental Africans, and they go, "Oh, you sold us, But these some people, when they find out they have 10% red Indian blood, they get so excited. They forget that it was the same red Indians that were used as the police of that time to capture black people, and also these some people enslaved black people. So how can you be so mad at Africans today, but you are so excited to be part of to be a red Indian, and you are so offended, I think so mad, I think, for being African. That's why some of you guys don't like continental Africans. But anyway, but that's the story that I'm working on. However, this one today is just the mistrust, the distrust in our community. You know, I'm gonna look at a few people here. I think the first one I'm gonna look at is so the first person I'm gonna look at is Jay Morrison. You know, I've been following Jay Morrison for some time. I like the brother. You know, I like what he says. This guy spent his money traveling around America, pretty much visited every place where black people live. You know, he visited them, and the one thing that I found he did was just gangster in a way. You know, is to say, I'm not gonna hire a school or a classroom or a hall or whatever where people can come and meet me. I'm gonna take it to the street, and I'm gonna preach in the street about real estate. And he did that. He worked hard, taught African Americans about history, about real estate, about credit. You know, and the brother knows his thing. He's been in the business for such a long time, and also he has a history. He's one people a lot of ordinary African Americans can relate to. You know, grew up in the ghetto, sold drugs, you know, went to prison, came back, and changed his life. You know, and worked in real estate with, you know, some high profile customers and businesses and all that. You know, he's done it. I think he was called Mr. Real Estate at some point, and then he was a celebrity realtor. So he's got the knowledge. So the man has the knowledge, you know, and it's not like he was broke. He was doing all right for himself, but he thought, you know what, instead of me just making money, he sees what people like the Jews, people like, you know, the Jews do, something even Jay-Z talked about, you know, in his 444 album. You know why the Jews own all the property in America? Credit. That's how they did it. So we can say, you know, Jay Morrison was trying to give his people $1 million game for $3.99, and he galvanized people. We need people, because right now there's no true leadership, just in black community. I'm a Pan-Africanist, you know, and it's just I'm not seeing, you know, the Malcolm X, the Kwame Nkrumahs, the Marcus Garvey kind of, you know, sort of leadership. Because if you look at even the NAACP, you know, the Black Caucus, all these people, they don't represent black people anymore. Apparently they represent, what do they call it? Everyone? You know, so there's nothing that's actually specific for black people. It's interesting how the black organization, I think it's actually all over the world. They are not representing black people. They are only they are representing everyone. You know, I don't know. We are for everyone now. We are multicultural. You know, but then the same people, like in America especially, Latinos have their own thing going. You know, you can't go there as black and them accepting you. They're not gonna do it. You know, you can't go to even. Apparently, I even heard when you go to, they were killing black people in the Dominican Republic because the black people over there think they're white. You know, and that's the problem. The only reason why this is happening is that, first of all, Africa is not winning. And what that means is black people are not winning. So most people don't want to be us. Everything in the world, guys, is about money. You know, so all this NAACP, the Black Caucus thingy in America, all these black, originally black sort of groups, they're now representing everyone. You know what that means? Because the other people are putting in the money to control them. So there's no group that's just black. There's no group like that. And the reason why there's no group like that, because we don't have financial power. You know, everything, politics is about financial power. Everything, that's what pushes the needle. Money. We don't have it. So when these groups, people like Jay Morrison, try to come up and say, guys, let's work together, we need people like that. We need people that can take the risk. Because the mistrust among us is so hard that even with people like, look at Wadamaya today can start a business, a company, and ask people, instead of them donating, ask them to buy shares. He has 500, something like 600,000 subscribers. He just needs maybe 200,000 of them to participate in that. And we'll be connecting, and he could even open up a mine and make millions of dollars, but everyone who invested make their money, as well, But before we can even start that, I've heard even Wadamaya is like scared, because there's this mistrust. What if I lose the money? What if I do that? Watch the end of this video. I'm gonna tell you why that is our Achilles heel. Why the fear of not even trying is why we're gonna stay poor. Is why we're gonna be at the bottom of the food chain. Marcus Garvey said this over 100 years ago now. Everywhere he looked, black people were at the bottom. And if we don't develop trust among ourselves, I know the mistrust has come from slavery and all these things and things that have happened in the past. But remember, we were able to raise money. Marcus Garvey was able to generate about 15 million black people all over the world. And these people were giving him money. It was the jealousy among some of them, African Americans. W.E.B. Du Bois was one of them, who made sure that Marcus Garvey got kicked out. Because I find it interesting. Like today, people like to tell black people in Western countries to go back home. Marcus Garvey tried. If anything, Marcus Garvey never said he wanted to take people to Africa. It was the media that did that. However, what he was trying to say is to connect people with Africa. But even then, they jumped in and jeopardized it and did all sorts of things to this man. So it's like, we've tried to leave, but you still came in, poked your nose in it and destroyed our movement. The reason why I'm saying this, guys, is we have to develop trust. And we have to let the lies leave. We have to, the scammers, but it's not just in Africa, or it's not just in black communities where the scammers are. Scammers are everywhere in this world. But we shouldn't let that deny even the honest people in our community from doing something. Because when we don't take the risk, we risk the chance of getting out of the bottom. We have to take risks for us to get out of the bottom of the bottom of the food chain. Jay Morrison does his thing. I think he registers everything according to what the American exchange requires you to do. He did everything, all the licenses and everything. I think in his IPO the first week he raised something like $9 million. Tremendous effort. But even me at that time, I knew, because he was talking of 8% and these things and all that interest return. But I knew it's not gonna be straight away, because first of all, you're gonna have to buy a house. You're gonna have to find good locations where you're gonna have to buy these things. And once you buy them, you're gonna have to develop them. And then the people that are doing all this work, they also need to get paid. So what happens is that I knew, like, it was gonna take at least 3 years. Most businesses, if you're doing a legitimate business, anyone who's done real business before is gonna agree with me. Like, generally, unless you go to Africa. In Africa, I think you can try making profit like that because things are not there. I can go to there with a little machinery that makes let me say chicken feed. A little. Even that, it's gonna take me at least a year for me to get the money back for I spent on the machine. So, but generally, if you start up a business, it takes you about 3 years for you to start actually seeing real money from your business, from your investments. But so he's bought stuff. He's bought like the black building. He's bought a few, and you can see he's bought all these things, right? But people start wanting their 8%. Like he said, I get it. But at the same time, he sent letters explaining what has happened. But then people now, they're crucifying him. If this man had done something wrong, he would be in jail. He's in America. He has to, there's laws of the community he's in, of the country he's in. He's not in jail. You know, but it's black people already crucifying him. And some of these people only donated something like $100 each. You know, it's not a lot of money. You know, you've bought 8 Timberlands, you've bought all this stuff. That's not even important. But you're going to go and crucify someone who's trying to do something, you know, for the community. You know, you're not even understanding what he's saying. Oh, he's stolen our money. Oh, he brought in young Jeezy trying to use. I don't care. Maybe he needed what he needed to do to convince you to join him. Because believe me, politicians do the same thing. Politicians use all these rappers and entertainers to tell you to vote for them. But once you vote for them, they don't even do the things you want them to do. You don't go there and start marching, you know. So let's be real. Sometimes I'm not supporting him, maybe using falsely, but I can see why sometimes you have to sort of engage things like that, because our community's gone so far behind that for us to get involved, you know, I even think like if you want to show off, that if you want to bring people that you are making money, you gotta do it like a rapper sometimes. You know, you gotta dress up and drive fancy cars. That's when, because our community, that's what they're used to. You know, you gotta dress up and look like a rapper. That's when everyone's going, oh, he's got money. Maybe he's telling the truth. Sometimes you just have to do it. When people now come to you and things are going well, and then you can say, you know what, we don't need to look like this. You know, there's rich people who don't dress and drive fancy cars. You know, but sometimes for our community, I think you have to do it. You even maybe have to wear fake teeth. You know, ice. You see me bling. You know, stuff like that. Just to encourage our people to come on board. You know, so they are crucifying Jay Morrison. You know, people have done YouTube, they've demonstrated and all this stuff. Come on, give the brother a chance. Give him a chance. Let him see, because a lot of people, even Boyce Watkins, I think he's a Dr. Boyce Watkins invested in Jay Morrison. He's not worried about his money because he understands business. You know, let's stop this nonsense. We need to come together, guys. There's no other way. We need to come together. You know, there's another man, Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, I've heard people complaining about Dr. Umar and this and that, and I've spent hours of myself listening to what this man says and trying to figure out if he's doing anything dodgy in it. This man has never said his foot wrong. In everything I've heard him say, it's the issues that are facing a black community. And the funny thing is, it's not just African American communities. It's black communities all over the world. That's why he's talking about, especially the ones who are in these Western countries with all these oh, your child has got this what do you call it? Is hyper. What do you call it? There's whatever. There's a terminology they use, and then they are injecting them with all sorts of things, which is not helping our black children. You know, but no one is saying anything apart from him. You know, he even says, you know, the communities in a lot of these places, and it's true, it's not wrong. You know, you will find more McDonald's and Burger Kings than you will find trade schools in some of these areas where our brothers and sisters live. You know, so he goes, okay, we need to find a school that educates our kids. On top of that, there's almost 3 million black men in prison right now. You know, leaving kids without a father. So it's a big problem. So ADHD has become a business. You know, it's like crack cocaine, to be honest. Only they're giving it to our kids, you know, or to young kids, especially in the black communities. You know, there are so many things that are going wrong in black communities all over the world. You know, in America, apparently 1,000 babies get killed every day, you know, through abortion, black babies. You know, in Africa, these white people are encouraging African families not to have many kids. But the thing is, Africa has always been underpopulated. Africa is almost 4 times bigger than Europe. They have 8 million people living in Europe. There's 1.2 billion people in Europe, in Africa. That means if we were to have the same population as the population in Europe, we should be having 3.2 billion people living in Africa, not 1.2 billion. Okay? So there's this and everything Africa has received, from people being injected with AIDS and all this, it's been a total massacre on our people. And if we don't come together and put our finances together, because that's the only way we can create venture capital as Africans or as black people, then our future is looking very bleak. So people like Dr. Uma Johnson, he's trying to say something and trying to do something, build a school. He raises $750,000. People started demonstrating because apparently they can't see the school. Oh, well, try to build a school with $750,000. I haven't heard anyone come out, any of these black billionaires come out and said, oh, you know what? I like what this man is doing. I'm going to give him $5 billion. And then like 2 years later, there's no school. Then yeah, we're going to ask that, but $750,000 cannot be, it's not enough to build a school. If it's where I am, it would just be enough to buy land. So we need to change our approach to things. We need to start thinking. And I think actually we need to be careful with some of these people that are just out there demonstrating all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these people didn't even donate the money. Maybe someone is using them. Let's stand up for people that are taking the risk, because we have to take the risk. Look at even ADDI by Dr. Arikana CHIHOMBORI. She has, if you look at her plans, they are amazing. These are plans that can transform Africa. These are plans that Africa has always needed. Putting up a rail line that connects East Africa to West Africa. You know how fast and how trade will be affected by that? People being able to ship things from East Africa to West Africa and from West Africa to East Africa. Africans trading. And along the way, you create these suburbs and mines, where copper, iron ore could be shipped and create employment. These are sort of things Africa needs. But some people are already saying, oh, our attitude towards these people is just wrong. A big chunk of the community is going, whoa, I can't wait when people start, in the future, when people start asking for their money back. Because already we've lost, before people even try. But let me tell you something. Nothing comes to fruition without trying. When JF Kennedy said we're going to send a man to the moon, it's not like the first thing they tried, straight away man went to the moon. Nah, they failed and failed and failed until eventually they did it. So let's have respect for people that have the initiative to say, you know what, I'm going to start something. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do this, because we need our finances to come together. Look at how our friends, every time a black person gets killed and by a white cop in America and that person goes to jail, the money out of the blue shows up, $2 billion bail, bang, the money's out of jail. No one demonstrates with these people. The money, it's not one person, it's the companies that you actually work for that actually end up bailing out these people. It's the billionaires among our friends' race that end up bailing these people out. But when we are trying to create billionaires, we are like skeptical to a point where we now believe every black billionaire is an Illuminati. They have to belong to a cult, because we don't trust that a black person can become a billionaire. I saw this comment once when I was going through, I think it was Donnell Jones. I don't know if you are my age or around my age, you remember Donnell Jones. He was like, he had a lot of hits. Where I Wanna Be, that was like one of the greatest R&B albums of my era. It's up there with Joe Thomas, All That I Am. The guy was making #1 hits, and I found out 2 years ago that, he was only worth $500,000, right? And I thought, oh, okay. But then, considering the hits that he had, he should be worth a lot more. But then I started reading the comments, and all the comments were like, oh, at least this is a brother who didn't sell his soul. Come on. Nah, that's not a brother that didn't sell his soul. That's just a brother who didn't invest. Let's just be real. It's a brother who did not invest. Because look at Jay-Z. Music gave him some money, yeah. But his investments made him a billionaire. Not music, not just music. It gave him a kickstart. But his investments, nothing about joining a cult, nothing about being an Illuminati. Why is it that it's always just black people? When they make money, then they have to be an Illuminati. People were laughing at Kanye West. Kanye West going on TV shows and proclaiming I want to be a designer, and everyone was laughing. Oh, well, look who's laughing now. Kanye West is now like $5 billion worth. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people that were laughing at him were black people. Oh, you can't laugh at him now, can you? So that's why we need people to have money. We need people, we need communities where we come together. We create our own venture capital. And venture capital is money that's there to say, you know what, if you want to try. Whether you lose, whether you create it, whether it comes to fruition or not, here's the money. That's how someone will give money, a 19-year-old Steve Jobs, $50,000 for them to start. Today, we got Apple. That's happening in those communities. You look at Chameleonaire. The brother made one good song. Today, he's made money from his investments. So it's these investments that create money. And for black people, we have a continent that's the richest continent in the world. If we put our money together, we can create a billion after billion after billion billion-dollar corporations. But we gotta come together. And I know we got money because every year, just Africans in the diaspora, Africans from Africa who've moved out of Africa recently and are in the diaspora, they send about $60 billion back to their relatives in Africa. But there's no development because it's not that money that's been put together to create industries. Okay? Just like I said about Wadamaya. If Wadamaya can say, guys, I need 100,000 people to send me $1,000 each, because here is a gold mine that we can start, here is a diamond mine that we can start. And for people that are in America, that are in Europe, I want you to find a way how we can create a market for these minerals and let's sell them. Then from there you go, I want us designs, people that can design these so we can have our own shops, so we can have diamonds that get dug up by Africans, that get polished and designed by Africans or black people and get sold in black-owned stores. The money stays in our community. We should stop the mistrust. There's a company called Quibi. It was they wanted to challenge Netflix, and they had a good idea. Everything on paper looks great. Everything on paper looked great. People invested in, white people, I would say, invested in about $3 billion in this company. They had some of the best corporate CEOs from some of the major corporate companies working on this. I think 6 months or 18 months later, this company is not making any money. They've lost money. They've lost most of the $3 billion. I think it was actually more than $3 billion. There was only a little bit of money left. And they just said, you know what? We gotta stop. We're not making money. The reason why I say that, I haven't heard a video of a white person coming out there and blasting everyone about, oh, I lost the money. They are scammers, or they've scammed or something like that. Not a single bit. But why is it that for us, before we even see people start doing something, we are out there demonstrating? Come on. Let's stop this nonsense. Let's stop this nonsense. It's not making us win. We are not doing anywhere. We're not doing anything, and we're not going anywhere with that kind of nonsense. Look at the Chinese. Something about the Chinese was, at the time we were called three-quarters of a human, they were called the same thing. I know there's a video coming, but I want you to know that back in the 1890s, this is after slavery had been abolished. I think the last slave ship, the Chinese are, there was tens of thousands of Chinese slaves in San Francisco. They were called three-quarters of a human. They were called dogs in Hong Kong. They were killed by the British for not buying they killed a king and killed a lot of Chinese because the king in China decided to say, you know what, we're not going to sell opium to our people because of what opium was doing to his people. They faced similar to what we faced, not as harsh, but something similar. I remember watching a video in the 90s about the Chinese in the 80s and all that. These guys used to wear clothes that looked like a uniform, like everyone had the same sort of gear, you know. Today, look where they are. The Chinese now, they've managed to make an artificial sun. Artificial sun in China, successfully made it. It's even hotter than the sun itself, which means China is about to have access to unlimited amounts of energy. You know, the Chinese today are able to create artificial, real rain, but created artificially. Because the people in China, the diasporans of Chinese descendants, including those who are descendants of people who were slaves in San Francisco, they've helped China. They've sent money to China. They've gone back to China and done something. No one can mess with China today. We are out here trying to say about how some of you guys are just, it's ridiculous. Oh, you know what? These guys are now even teaching about slavery in our kids' schools. They're saying how slavery was bad. Dude, they've been doing that for the past 15 years or 15 to 20 years. Some of the kids who are now part of these extreme groups in Europe are young, and they've also been taught that it has two effects. It's either, if you are white, you hear that domination in you wakes you up, because it's racism. If you understand it, it's about domination. It's not about, you know, discrimination because you don't like me. Nah, it's about one race dominating another race. And when some of these kids hear the things about slavery, it just brings up that power wanting to dominate. Whereas for black kids, you might get sad and know that these kids don't feel sad. And the proof is, there's more young people in extreme groups, in racist groups right now, in white power groups, in white supremacy groups in Europe than there ever was. You know, they've heard about slavery. The effect is different. Believe me, it empowers them. That's how we should be. We should be on top. You know, so you were anticipating, oh, they're learning. Oh, God, it's so good. They're gonna change. Keep dreaming, brother. Keep dreaming, people. You know, we need to come up with a way to trust each other. We need to come up with a way to work together. We need to come up with a way to have venture capital so we can do something better than the Chinese have done. We have more natural resources on our continent than China. So let's stop this nonsense of mistrust. It's destroying us. It's what's killing us. The less we trust each other, the longer we stay at the bottom of the food chain. Once trust comes up, let's have trust in and rise up as a race. Because believe me, things are moving so fast. Things are moving so fast. Very soon, it's not going to be people fighting as soldiers. It's going to be engineered, biologically engineered soldiers. China is doing it. I hear France just said they're going to start doing it. Do you think Africa can stand up to that? No way. And if Africa doesn't win, if Africa is not leading, if Africa is not militarized and strong enough to protect itself, every black person in the world suffers. I don't care whether you are the so-called American patriotism, which I think is a lot of BS. You know, because actually, I don't know, maybe things have changed. The last time I checked American families, there was no black families. Maybe someone put up, because I did even, you know, talk about this, say something to Google. I think they say, you know, how come when someone searches American families, there's no black families? I think they've changed now. You know, African Americans used to go fight in World War II, and they fought even in World War I. But in World War II, when they were in the US, in England, they had to separate them in two separate groups. Black people were not only fighting American enemies, they were also fighting white soldiers, American white soldiers, because every time an American white soldier sees a black person, they used to go after them and kill them. You know, A black soldier got killed because where he was, he left the place because he was bored. He started going walking around. He got lost. He goes to ask. He knocks at this person's house. A white lady comes out. He was asking for directions. Here comes white American soldiers. They see him. Why are you talking to that? They grab him, put his head against the pavement, and stomped on it, killed the guy. So they were fighting two wars. We don't have to go through that. We don't have to go through that. If you ask me, African Americans, the most patriotic Americans, I know that. Because they've fought in wars and gone back home and they still can't find work. They can't be given work. So why settle for that when you can fight a war and go back home and be looked at as a true hero? Anyway, I'm going off topic here, but there's more videos coming. What I'm asking everyone to do, what I would like our community to start looking at, is to actually have faith in some of these people that are putting their hand up to say, you know what, pick me, because we need direction, we need leaders. Put your hand up and say, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. Win or lose, let me give it a shot. Let's support these people. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching my videos. There's more videos coming. Please subscribe and press that like button. Thank you. Stay safe. Goodbye.